the holy presence of the Lord as we say in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning, sir, and good morning, classmates. So, so let's wait a minute lang po kay nag-log daw kuno si Rona, which is our first reporter po.
Okay, okay.
Hello, madunggan ako?
Oh,
Yes,
madungog
Jay.
na Aaron.
Okay. Ni-transfer ko sa phone, sorry. Can I ask lang Miss Odina to present my PPT kay murag guba ang speaker sa akong laptop? Or pwede ba mag-share screen ko sa laptop then audio sa phone ang gamiton?
That will do. That's fine.
Ay, try na ko sir ha. Wait, virtual screen. Can you guys see my PPT? Ay, wala.
Wala pa.
Okay, wait. Makita na guys ang akong PPT.
Yes, Ron.
Makita na.
Okay. So, good morning to all. My name is Rana, a member of Group 4, and our assigned topic is about charts. Now, actually, this topic is actually divided into three topics. So, we have topic A about creating charts, B about modifying and formatting charts, and C, using advanced chart features. So today I am going to discuss about topic A, which is about creating charts. And we will be talking about these 6 topics today. So, excuse me, we will start with charts, knowing the definition of charts. Then we are going to talk about chart basics, chart types, recommended charts, chart insertion methods, and insert chart dialog box. So hopefully you are seeing my screen because I am currently presenting the screenshot of a worksheet. So on the left side, kani siya nga part dire, this is actually raw data being inputted in the cells. And on the right, we have a chart which was based on the raw data on the left. So if pangutan-on ta mo, the question is which is easier to interpret. So situation, gaan ta mo situation. For example, I am your employer and you are my employee. And I need to know the results sa atong marketing campaign last month. So I need to know the highest number of sales, which city nga naay pinaka-highest number of sales. So if ang naara nimo ang raw data on your left side, will you be able to give me an answer? Well, yes, of course, because you have the data. But if akong gipangayo is immediate response, meaning gadali ko, ganahan ko karon na nga answer, so of course, there is a big possibility nga malipat ka because there are lots of numbers here and especially kung dili ra kani ang data ang available nimo if daghan pag na maglisod jud kag pangita asa ang highest number of sales. Whereas if you focus on the right side of this screenshot kaning naay chart, mas easier siya because mas dali ko nimo mahatag answer because by looking at it at one glance lang, you will be able to identify that among the other cities, Berlin has the highest number of sales, specifically for brand A, from our marketing results last month. So, with this, guys, this is why charts are very convenient because chart, by definition, is a graphical representations of the numeric values and relationships in a data set. So, ang kaninga definition, you will be able to appreciate this more once we have our workbook. But for now, let me talk about the benefits of using charts. So first, we have quick and easy data interpretation. So when we say quick and easy data interpretation, mas dali ra ta maka-analyze sa data. So like what I presented earlier, katong screenshot sa workbook, at one glance lang sa chart, makakita na gid ka nga ang Berlin na siya highest number of sales. Next, we also have automatically updates when you update the data feeding them. So, mobalik ta sa ato ang slide earlier. For example, na miscalculate nimo, upon double checking the results, si London di ay ang naay pinaka dakog sales sa inyong marketing campaign. So, imong gi-change dire sa raw data on your left, London butang talag 50 na siya diha, 50.5. So, ika-change nimo diha ang chart nimo ma-automatically update. So, next, we also have it contains animation functionality. So going back to the previous slide, for example, na-change na nato si London into from 23.5 to let's say 50.5. So ang kaning chart nimo, makakita ka nga mo move sad na ang kanang bar ni London for brand A. So again, you will be able to appreciate this more if mag-workbook demo na ta. But from the word itself, animation functionality, moving pictures. So makakita ka in real time nga maglihok ang imong chart. Alright, so next slide. So now that we've talked about chart definition, let us talk about the basics, the chart basics, because this will help us in creating our charts later. So Excel plots data along its axis, two axes specifically. We have x-axis and y-axis. I know you're already familiar with this axis, kanang marag nakamit na taani before, but sahay di kita to kalikuan nga malibog ta sahay unsay x o unsay y-axis, right? So you have to remember, basta x-axis, it runs horizontally, while y-axis runs vertically. So kung makalimot pa jud mo, x higda, y barog. X higda, y barog. So ang other difference is, for x-axis, it is used to represent category of information. So kung mag-focus ka sa picture nga naa sa right, ang category of information na to, we have the city, right? Specifically, we have London, Paris, Rome. And for the y-axis, it is used to represent values within data set. So 35, 30, 25 kani mga numbers diri. However, guys, dili gud ka makakita sa specific values like sa atong chart earlier nga 23.5, 50.5. Usually, ma-round off na siya like 10, 15, 20. But if you click on a specific object, kay makita nimo ang specific value. Again, maka-appreciate mo if naa na tay workbook demo later. But for now, let us also talk about objects, because objects are actually the individual items or series represented in our data. So like in our example here, the column which represents brand A, brand B, and brand C under the city of Berlin. Kani akong green nga gi-encircle diri. So again, recap ang tulo ka chart basics that we have to remember. We have the x-axis, y-axis, and the objects. Moving on to our next slide, we have the how Excel reads our data. Of course, kay what if pataka-taka or tag-input diha sa atong data niya, ika-create na to sa chart, bungkag di ay, wa nagkadimaw ang purma. So today, I will teach you how Excel reads our data. So first, there are three things that you have to remember. But before that, I am assuming nga kailan na taon sa columns and rows, right? Kung muingon di tag columns, from top to bottom. Ay, di mo kita sa kung arrow. Ay, dara kita. So top to bottom, ang kung row gani, from left to right. Okay. So three things you have to remember. First, whatever you input in your columns, kanidere, that will become the elements for your x-axis. So dere, London, Paris, Rome, ana, mao na ang nahimo ng city. So i-input nimo dire, i-create nimo sa insert nimo sa chart later, mo na mahimo nga x-axis nimo. Next, we also have for our rows kaning brand A, brand B, brand C. So if you can notice, naa siya gibutang sa rows. So transform nimo sa kuan dire sa chart, dili gyud na siya mahimong y-axis, dita maglibog ana ha. Kung moingon di grow, ang mahimo ana niya, these will be the values that will become the data, this will become the data series names for your chart. So kita ta dire sa atong chart sa kilid, data series pulled from row labels. So dire, brand A, B, C, nahimong mga data series names. And lastly, for the remaining cells, kaning mga values dire, that will become now your y-axis. Again, the remaining cells, mo ng mga values that will be plotted in your y-axis. So recap na lang para di na sad malimtan. Whatever you input in your columns, mo na mahimong x-axis from your columns. And Whatever you input in your rows, that will become the data series names. And for the remaining cells, that will become your y-axis pulled from data entry. So, ka-appreciate naman later once you have our workbook demo. So moving on, we're done. Again, to recall lang, we're done discussing what chart is. We're done talking about the chart basics. And we have also mentioned how Excel reads the chart. So now let us talk about the different chart types available in Excel. So there are 15 different chart types and some contain a variety of specific subtypes. So daghan kini sila guys. And we are going to talk about these one by one later. But we have also to know how do we access chart types and subtypes. So it is actually found in the insert chart dialog box. You have to go to the insert tab. You have to go to the charts group, then to the dialog box launcher sa lower right. So don't worry, di mag-uol kay later in our chart insertion methods, makakita ra mo asa ni makita jud si insert chart dialog box. But for now, let us talk about the ideal uses for the different chart types. Kay of course, di ta magpasagad og gamit basi ganahan kag makakitag percentage sa imong mga chart then lahi day nga chart imong nagamit murag basta walay sense. So dapat we have to know unsa day appropriate uses aning each chart para kay boss ta unsa imong gamiton. So let's start with the first five para dili kay overwhelming akong gi-divide into five. First, we have column, which shows a relationship among values in numbers of categories or changes in values over time. So like the example that I presented earlier, it is ideal, the column chart is ideal if you want to compare a single category of data, like in our example ganina, katong sales, between different cities. So morning column, and usually column ang murag usually gigamit sa mga tao, no? It's easier to understand magod. And second, we have line. It shows the trends in data over a period of time at consistent intervals. So from the word itself, consistent, if you want to present like annual sales, quarterly sales, monthly sales. So this will be the perfect chart for you. And it is also ideal when you have lots of data points to plot. So ang kaning line. And to be honest, margwa pa ko kagamit yun aning line, no? So next we have pie chart. Pie chart shows a relative size of values compared to the whole and to the other parts of the whole. I think we're all familiar of a pie chart, and pie chart is also ideal when you want to show the percentage of the total. So ang makita, if ganahan ka ipakita nimo ang percentage sa total, mo ni ang gamiton nimo. So you can also put values depende na gina nimo. Again, kinabi different subtypes and maka-edit ra ka sa imong chart. We will present that later. Then we also have bar, and if you can notice, ang bar nga definition, same ra gyud siya sa column, relationship among values in number of categories. Ang nakalahi lang sa bar, sa column, kay ang bar, mo gamit og horizontal line. So, nag-research ko, kay hibong ko ba nga nang naa pa man horizontal lines, kung pwede naman mag-column na lang di ay. So, it's actually, bar chart is actually ideal di ay if you have very long data labels, and kung di ka ganahan nga compress kay imong chart or hugaw na kag tan-awon, you can use bar chart. Again, it is ideal if you have data labels that are too long. Next, last for the first five, we have area, relationship among values in number of categories over time, with visual emphasis on the magnitude of each data category. Since it highlights visual emphasis man, visual emphasis of data, this actually is a colorful chart. Colorful kay siya, daghan kay siya color, and this chart will distinguish various data in a more distinct display. So, mas makita nimo through colors. So, don't worry again, maka-appreciate na mo ani later. Let us move on to the next five. And actually, pag hinuon ako sa PPT no, first time pa ko kadungog ani nga terms despite using Excel for a lot of times already. But let us talk about the XY scatter, which shows a relationship between two categories of measured data as opposed to one category of measured data across evenly spaced periods of time. So, taas kay definition, but what you have to remember lang, ang keyword lang nga per minute hinumduman is two categories of measured data. So this is actually a chart which is ideal if you want to observe or to show relationships between two sets of variables. So duha ka categories of data or two sets of variables. Next, we have stock, which shows a change in stock prices over time or other similar fluctuating sets of values. So from the word itself, fluctuating, according to my research, stock chart is also called high-low close chart in Excel. High-low from the word itself, no? High-low, magsige change, fluctuating. hopefully nakahinumdum mo sa katong financial management nato pag summer or katong kung kanis amo naka financial management, stock is one of the highly risky investments. So there is a regular rise and fall in the number or amount. So if you want to show that in your data, pwede ang stock chart inyong gamiton. Next, we also have surface chart, which shows three-dimensional representations of data. So 3D. So if i-compare nimo sa XY scatter, guys, ang i-show sa XY scatter, di ba, kay two categories of measured data or two sets of variables. Pero sa surface, ang keyword nga inyong hinduman, 3D, meaning this chart is typically used when you when you want to work on three sets of data. So 3 sa XY scatter, 2 sa surface, 3. All right. Next, we also have the radar. It is also called, according to my research, is spider chart or the web chart. Why? Because from the definition, aggregate relational sizes of multiple data categories in terms of multiple criteria. So multiple, daghan di kaayo, mura siya web, mura siya spider kay. It lets you show multiple items in multiple criterias. So honestly, di kay ko ka-explain no kay wa pasad ko kagamit aning radar. Hopefully makagamit ta one day. Then we also have for the last ani dere is tree map, which shows a hierarchical chart. So from the word itself, na hierarchy. So meaning it shows a hierarchical view on your data and how the parts of the hierarchy compare to the size of each of them. So ang pagtanaw nako sa kaning tree map, similar siya sa kanang maghimo gitag organizational structure, guys. So kung kinsay pinakataas na sa gibutang sa pinakataas mo na siya ang naay highest level sa ilang hierarchy. All right, next. So we also have this last 5 sunburst histogram box and whisker waterfall combo, or what we call dual analysis chart. Now, first we have the sunburst. It shows visual comparisons of relative sizes similar to tree map. So nganong nakaingon tag similar to tree map na? Because kani siya, it also shows a hierarchy. Ang nakalahi lang sa sunburst ni tree map, instead of katong pina-organizational chart nga gigamit sa tree map, ang sunburst, ang gamit niya is circles. So mag-circle, daghang circles, and kung unsa nga circle ang nasa pinaka-inner circle mo to ang highest hierarchy. So sa tree map, kung unsay nasa babaw, may highest. Sa sunburst, kung unsay nasa pinakasud, mao ang highest. Alright, now moving on to histogram, which is a column chart that shows frequency of data. So from the definition itself, makakuha tag idea what does it look like because it is similar to a column chart. Ang nakalahi lang gid nila is in column chart, ang i-present niya dito is single value, single category of data. While in histogram, ang iyang i-present kay average of the values. Again, histogram, ang iyang i-represent ang average na sa values or what we call bin. Di man yung word bin, B-I-N. Histogram gani, average of values, we call it bin. Next, we have box and whisker, which is shows statistical information about a set of data, more on statistics. So if you remember in your senior high, we've talked about medians, we've talked about variations. And if you want to show that in your chart, then this is the perfect chart to use, box and whisker. Next, we also have the waterfalls, which shows the running total as values are added or subtracted. So it is used to understand how a value, initial value, is affected by a series of positive or negative values. So since accountancy man ta, mas maka-appreciate sa definition or sa use sa waterfall if i-imagine nato ang net income. So unsa may naka-add sa atong net income, guys? So kung naka-add sa net income, for example, atong sales, di ba? Unsay naka-minus sa atong net income? Mga expenses. Very good. Lastly, we have combo or the dual axis chart, which shows relationship among values of widely differing ranges of data. So from the word itself, differing ranges, galahi-lahi. So for example, accountant ka, and you want to chart unit sales in dollars and unit sales in pesos, pero ganahan ka, ang kaning unit sales in dollars and unit sales in pesos, nara sa usa ka chart. So this is the perfect chart to use because it shows you that you can display different sets of values in one chart only. All right, and that ends all the different chart types in Excel. So naay 15 ka buok. And sometimes because there's 15 man ka buok, sometimes it gets too overwhelming, daghan na kaayo, and maglibog na ta unsa gyud nga chart atong gamiton, right? But we don't have to worry because Excel has this handy feature that assists us in selecting the most appropriate chart subtype when inserting our charts. So what we call this handy feature the recommended charts. And how do we access this, Rona? Asa din ni makita, asa ni malocate? So first, we can use the quick analysis tools, or actually you can use Control Q. Again, maka-appreciate na mo sa demo later. And we also have the recommended charts found in our insert chart dialog box. Again, di mag-goal kay i-show ra gid ni later, guys. Next, we have four types or four methods for on how we can insert our charts. Kay of course, yes. Of course, mag-insert man tag chart from our raw data like what I presented earlier, right? So we have quick analysis tools, ribbon commands, insert chart dialog box, and the inserting the default chart type. Again, mas maka-appreciate mo if mag-demo na ta, but let me just talk about more about this default chart type. So for example, guys, accountant ka and based on your experience, nasa sige ni maghimo og mga reports kay you happen to use pie chart very often. And pwede kina nimo para makasave kag time mo na lang naimuon nimo default chart type. And the keyboard shortcuts that you can use to do that is we have the Alt plus the F1 if you want to insert the default chart in the same worksheet that the data set is on, or you can use the F11 function 11 if you want to insert it on a new worksheet. Okay. And lastly, for my last slide, we are going to talk about the insert chart dialog box briefly lang because, of course, mas maka-appreciate mo if mag-demo na ta, we have two tabs here. We have the recommended charts and the all charts. So both of these tabs actually shows you a live preview of what your charts will look like. So diri makita ko unsay naong para, of course, na nakay idea sa kung unsay naong sa imong chart ika-insert mo. Ang nakalahi lang, again, kung recommended charts nga tab imong gamiton, ang kung unsay gi-recommend Excel mo na makita nimo, pero sa all charts ikaw mismo ang mo select sa imong chart nga pilion. And that ends my report. Now it's time for workbook, and can I please call Miss Odina Labiaga to please discuss? Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Jing. Madungog ra ko.
Madungog ra din na.
Okay, let me present to you my Excel file. Wait. Kita ra?
Yes,
Wala
Jing.
pa. Kita na.
Kita na, okay. So here's my Excel file. So let me start with the chart insertion methods. Muna itong first unahon. As discussed by Rona, na ay 4 methods on how to insert a chart. The quick analysis tools, ribbon commands, insert chart dialog box, and the default chart type. But first, before inserting a chart into a worksheet, you should select the data set the chart will be based on. Especially if naamoy daghang data diri sa inyong worksheet kay maglibog man ang Excel asa ang iyang kuanon nga chart, asa iyang ibutang sa chart asa nga data. So it is better if imuhang select daan asa ang data set nga inyo need nga ibutang sa chart. So first, so let us go over the first method, quick analysis tools. So here, select sa chart. After selecting sa data set, na may makita diri nga gamayng quick analysis tool, makita ra?
Makita ra.
Yes,
Yes, Jing.
kani inyo ning pisliton. And go to charts. Diri makita nyo ang kuan nga clustered chart, stack chart, kani clustered. So we'll choose wait, wala man diri. Nasa diri ang more. If imo ni pisliton ang more, makita ninyo ang insert chart dialog box. So go here. And na siya recommended chart nga clustered bar kani. So diba nakita ninyo nagipakita turn. So we'll choose this clustered bar. Then tara na makita na ang inyong chart. The next method will be the ribbon command. So delete sa nila ko. Select na daan ang data set, then insert tab, then naana diri na ay bar chart or column chart, na ay line chart, area chart, or the pie chart. So we'll choose the bar chart or column chart. Here, kani atong pilion. So tara, kana, naana, makita na. So ang katong giingon ni Rona nga updated ang chart if na kay ilis dere. So for example, dere sa chart ang makita nato nga highest sales kay ang romance man nga genre for the month of February. So let atong ilisan to mystery, atong niilisan og amount to 150,000. Oh, di ba ni update sa dayon ang chart nato. Ang mystery na ang highest sales for the month of February. So again, ora na. Third method, the insert chart dialog box. Let me delete this. Select the data set. Insert tab. Then here, slito ni nato para makita nato ang insert chart dialog box. Then same ra to sa katong quick analysis tools na rasad makita ninyo ang recommended charts and all charts. So mana mag-explain sa recommended charts diri na sa taas sa all charts. Dara, nakita ninyo ang tanang types of chart. Combo, waterfall, box and whisker, line, na. We'll choose the bar. Here, na ang preview kung unsa ang naong sa chart if kani imong pilion. Column chart lang ta. Here. Okay, click OK. And then done. We're done with the third method. Oops, wait. Same ra sa mga napakita nga chart ganina, maura gyapon. Kani mystery ang highest sales for the month of February. So let me go over the fourth method, the default chart type. Delete this. So first, if you want to put the type, I've put the chart in the same worksheet. So Alt F1. Alt F1, but I'm using a laptop, so ang akong kuanon ani nay mapuno nga kuan Alt plus Fn plus F1. Basta laptop Alt plus Fn plus F1, but if desktop computer ra, Alt plus F1. So okay, go Alt plus Fn plus F1. So here mo man ni siya ang naka-default nga chart type sa ako ang Excel. Ano siya, napakita na. Same ra gyapon sa mga chart pa ganina. However, you can change the default chart type. You can also change the default chart type. Ang buhaton lang kay delete. Go to the insert tab. Then i-open nimo ang insert chart dialog box. All charts. So if you want nga bar chart ang imuhang kuanon, kani ang imong ganahan, you can right click, dayon set as default chart. Okay. O, diba? Naana. Balik ko na to. Alt Fn plus F1. O, diba? Sa una kay katong column chart may nakapakita. Karon kay kuana bar chart. Another method of default chart type kay if ganahan mo nga sa new worksheet mapakita ang inyong chart, kay select the data set and then if kuan desktop computer yung gamit, F11 ra ditso, but if laptop, Fn plus F11. Tara, naada na. As you can see, na siya sa bag-o nga, na siya nabutang siya sa lain nga worksheet. And okay, that would be all for my presentation. So workbook for the topic A. Let's go for the topic B. Next reporter, please.
So, am I audible? Nakita ako screen?
Yes.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I'm Petrol Rodrigo and my topic is all about modifying and formatting charts in Excel. So, although you can easily create charts within a second, there are still default chart configurations that you don't know you might need to present the data. So, to start with, let's identify the difference between modification and formatting charts. So, unsa maning modifying and formatting charts? So, modifying charts include making changes such as moving chart elements by adding or removing chart elements, turning the display of particular data on or off, and changing the chart data. So, as you can see in the original chart, uh, plain ra kayo siya, di ba? Just the data and the legend. While in the modifying chart, daghan na kay mga displays na anay chart titles and mas specify na ang data information. So to simplify, think of a modifying chart as a working with display. You modify a chart to change audience understanding of the information you are presenting. So next is formatting chart. Ni-move ra ako an PPT guys.
Sa akong end kay wala.
Hello, MJ log. Uh, Clarice. Miss Clarice. Po, please po present Clarice. Excuse lang sa guys for a minute. Next slide, Clarice, please. Kana. So again, modifying charts include making changes such as moving chart elements, adding or removing chart elements, turning the display of particular data on or off, and changing the chart data. So as you can see in the original chart, plain ra kayo siya, di ba? Just the data and the legend. While in the modified chart, daghan na kay mga displays na anay chart title and mas specify pa ang data information. So to simplify, think of a modifying chart as a working with display. So you modify a chart to change audience understanding of the information you are presenting. Next slide, please. So next is formatting, which refers to altering the overall look and feel of a chart. So formatting a chart includes tasks such as changing the color scheme or the font and altering the size of the chart. In the illustration given, the original chart has a wide data series, and as you can see here, there is still y-axis in the left side. While in the formatted chart, as you can see, the side of the graph has changed. It becomes narrow, and as you can see, there is no more y-axis. Rather, the data are put at the top of the graph. So that's how you do formatting chart. Thus, you format a chart to convey a particular mood or feel. Next slide, please. Next slide, Clarice, please. Add chart elements back set. Back po. Kana. So next is chart elements are the individual objects that can appear on charts and that convey some level of information to a viewer about the chart's data. While all Excel chart contains at least one chart element, by default, the various chart types display different chart elements. So, for example, bar and column charts typically display two axes, which is the y and x and y axis, while the surface charts, as you can see, it has three axes. Amazing kayo, di ba? So that's why I'm telling you that there's still data configurations na wala pa jud kakaibaw. So each chart elements serves a different role in visually communicating information about data and trends. Next slide, please. So, as you can see here, di ba ganina na-discuss na ni Rona ang katong access labels o katong kuan yat ang data series. So, napay uban parts sa chart nga wala nga kanang basic ra sad siya ba. So here kaning upper quarterly sales by region definitely mao jud na ang siyang title. Then kanang naka horizontal line gani sa chart mao na siya ang kanang grid lines. Then kanang object it is called data series. Then kaning data table mao ni siya imong mga information na imo i-put sa chart as what Rona said. And lastly, kaning legend, it is a representation of legend keys or entries in the plotted area of chart or graph that are linked to the data table of the chart. Therefore, chart elements help the audience interpret chart data. As a general rule, it's best to include only those charts that are absolutely necessary for conveying meaning. So next slide, please. So when analyzing your charts, ask yourself a question such as, if I remove the grid lines, will the chart still convey meaning? Do I need a legend? Can I remove the legend and use data labels instead? How much precision do I need for access labels? Do the access really need titles? Well, using a three-dimensional layout enhance visual appeal or distort proportions? Does including the data table aid understanding? Do I really need major and minor tick marks and access? Thus, you must take note that before finalizing your charts, keep the old adage, less is more in mind. If the audience needs an element to acquire meaning, keep it, otherwise remove it. So you can access many of the commands you will use to modify and format your charts on the Chart Tools Contextual tab. So the text, next slide please. So the chart tool contextual tab appears whenever you select a chart or a chart element, and it disappears when you select a worksheet element outside the chart. So the chart tools contextual tab contains two tabs that each contain task related groups and commands for working with your charts. So let's take a look on the various command groups on both of these tabs. Next slide please. So as you can see here, this is the chart tools. Oh my God. Sige. So under it, there is a design tab command group where you can quickly change the overlook and feel of your charts. So kanang chart layouts, the purpose of it is the adding or removing individual chart elements and quickly configuring the display of all chart elements according to predefined configurations. So next, ang chart styles. The use of it is to quickly formatting a chart by using predefined sets or formatting options. Next is the data, which is used for changing the chart's dataset range and switching the row and column data. This does not switch the data that is displayed on the x-axis with the data that is displayed on the y-axis. This switches the categories with the data series. Next is the type where it is used to change the chart type. And next is location, moving charts to different worksheets within a workbook. So, kani siya guys, ma-discussion siya further sa workbook later. So, next is, please, next slide please. Next slide. So next is the Format tab, where to configure chart formatting. So the current selection, where it is used for selecting particular chart elements and accessing the Format task pane. Next is insert shapes, where it is used for inserting or changing shapes in worksheets. N- Then cunning shape styles, where it is for configuring formatting options for chart elements. Then kaning word arts, kaning mga na AAA, kay mo na siya used for configuring formatting options for the chart text. Next is arrange, is for use to changing the front to back placements of chart elements and configuring the orientation of chart. Then lastly, the size, where it is used for changing the size of charts and chart elements. So the chart tools, the two types of chart tools kay mo ni siyang katong design and format tab. So that would be all for the discussion of modifying and formatting charts. So ang kaning sir, would it be okay if recorded ang sa workbook sir kay si Lovely sir kay Kuan sir hinayaha connection sir.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay sir, please ko show Clarice. Sir, would it be okay, sir, if kanang amo lang ni i-post sa group chat, sir? Kay nag-log daw ang iya laptop, sir.
Yeah, that's fine. Just upload it in the link that I shared sa group sa chat box karon. And also you can try to upload it in Facebook group as well.
Okay, thank you, sir. So our next reporter will be Clarice Tubaon po. Thank you, everyone.
Are we done? That's for the topic B demonstration na ang katong recorded.
Yes, sir.
And then next topic C.
Oh, this, sir, katong format task pane pa, sir.
Yeah.
Part ka po siya sa B, sir.
Sige, sige. Who's going to report, man? Group 4?
Sir, naglab pa ang
Sir,
laptop ni...
Oh, sorry,
Ah, sige.
sir.
Sige, sige. Anyways, it's almost time naman said, no? Almost 11:30. So why not let's just continue with the task pane and the topic C next meeting, no? So just keep posted, and group 4 make sure to upload the video and in the shared folder and also in Facebook group so the rest can watch it. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So let's just stop from there now. For the topic B, modifying charts, tables. So we will just continue next meeting. So please keep posted and make sure to review if needed. No, this session was recorded, Mansad, so you can always go back and check on this one. All right. So that's all for today, and we will continue next meeting. Have a good one, guys. Thank you for today.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
sir.
Goodbye,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye, sir.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.